What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Mitch TV. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are reviewing Thor, Love and Thunder, and I have thoughts. Let's get into it.
You and me, don't think you understand what you do to me. Put down a lot of makeup and the jewelry. You never needed it before, continuity.
So guys, I saw this movie last night and I had time to think over this. I had a good night's rest, making sure I believed everything I thought, so I could come on here and tell you guys my unbiased review, absolute honest review. And this movie had high expectations. Not only was Taika Waititi directing again, we all know how great he was with Ragnarok, but we also had the Guardians in there. We have two Thors in there. We have Christian Bale as the main villain. What could be not good about this movie? This should be an S-tier Marvel movie, top 5 easily, right? So did it deliver? No, it did not. Guys, this movie was disappointing, and it hurts to say that. This could have been and should have been one of the best Marvel movies. Everything was there for it. It was just disappointing, underwhelming. There were a few good to great things about this movie, but overall it was a flop, mid as they say. And I'm going to go over the good first and then the bad. I have my notes right here, so let's get right into it. First off, for the good, we have Gore. Christian Bale absolutely killed this role. He's an amazing villain. I think they gave him, no spoilers, but I think they gave him a sufficient backstory to justify his purpose throughout this movie, although it did feel a little rushed. I still really got behind his character. He acted his chops off in this movie. He was so good. I mean, it's Christian Bale. What do you expect? But him as the God Butcher was a great villain to Thor, and I thought he played the role very, very well. Every scene he was in, he stole. And every time he was on screen, I was like, give me more of that. Give me more of that. And then I was like, no, go back to him. Don't go to another scene. Go back to him. And I really, really love Christian Bale's Gore, and I think he carries this movie. The next great thing about this movie was the action sequences. I'm a very visual type of viewer. I love action sequences and how suits look on characters and how their powers are displayed. I love the visuals of a movie. And another great thing about this movie is that, Taika Waititi, as we saw in Ragnarok, can put a lot of color and cool visuals into a film, and he does the same thing here. And I think the movie was beautiful. Honestly, it was a really good looking movie, and when the action sequences were there, regardless of the plot and the pacing and just different things like that, just unbiasedly, when the action sequences are going down, they're really, really cool. Especially between Gore and Thor, and just a couple other scenes. No spoilers, but there's a scene towards the beginning of the movie, in the first act, which was a really cool action sequence when we actually first meet Jane. I thought that might have been the best sequence in the movie, maybe, but it's really, really cool how they displayed Thor's powers. Was he nerfed a little from Infinity War and Ragnarok? Maybe. I think maybe his powers were a little underutilized, but nevertheless, it was very visually pleasing, and I can't wait to watch these action sequences again when they come out on YouTube, because I might not watch the movie again. The other great thing about this movie is the relationship between Chris Hemsworth Thor, and Jane. In Thor 1 and Thor: The Dark World, we didn't really care about that relationship, right? It was there, it wasn't memorable, but in this movie, Taika Waititi and the script made this relationship actually memorable, and we actually cared about these people. I'm not going to go into all the reasons why Jane can become Thor now and what's going on with her character. If you know the comics, it's pretty comic book accurate, so you'll know then. But the reasons that they can come back together again, and the reasons that you really care about the relationship are very strong. And despite all the comedy in this movie, which we'll talk about soon, it didn't sacrifice the deep moments, because there are some deep moments in this movie, and it let those moments breathe, and it wasn't just drowned out by humor. So I was very happy about that. And so yeah, you really care about these two, and I think that's just due to the script and the amazing acting performances from Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth kills it as Thor again in this movie. I'll talk about the downside of his character now, but for what the character is now, Chris Hemsworth did a really good job, and he's perfect for Thor. This again, there's not really anything else I have to say about that. Natalie Portman is a really great actress. I just think that she didn't get to utilize all of her acting abilities in the other two movies, and so now we can actually see, like, yeah, she's really good, and she works well with Thor, and the relationship it blends and it meshes really well, and we like them. We want to see them succeed and be together. So I really enjoyed that. Okay, there are a lot of things I did not like about this movie, so I have my notes here. We're just going to go right into the first one. Okay, the biggest thing about this movie, and you've probably already heard this in other reviews, this movie has too many jokes. I watched a review by Jeremy Johns on this movie, and he said something that was absolutely perfect. This movie feels like a parody of itself, and that's very disappointing. Because I don't know if you guys have seen the like what was Thor doing between Ragnarok and Civil War. Or, actually, it was between Civil War and Ragnarok. And Thor's kind of like this dumb character, and he's just like this comedic guy. And it's just a really spoofy video that he's with this other character. I don't even remember his name, but that's literally the character he plays in this movie. Thor has become a man-child. He's not too epic anymore. There's, like I said, the action sequences are really cool, and when he's fighting, he looks really cool. But the epicness to the Thor character has kind of been drained at this point, and he's kind of like a man-child. He's annoying at sometimes. He's stupid. He's just an attractive guy that has really cool powers, but that's literally it. And it is like Ragnarok, just amplified on 10 for the jokes. Basically every line he has, if it's not in a deep moment, specific deep scene, every line he has leads to a joke, and it gets really annoying. And this movie just feels so silly and just stupid, like a parody of itself. That's the best thing I could say. Another thing I want to say about the comedy is it takes all the stakes out of this movie. Like, Gore the God Butcher is one of the darkest villains we've ever had. And yet it doesn't really feel like that, like it could have, because this is a rom-com. It's a romantic comedy. And the movie has these two tones, and they just don't mesh well. It's rom-com and like the darkest villain we've had, and they don't mesh. So like I said, guys, Gore the God Butcher carries this movie on his back. If it weren't for him, this movie would probably be a 3 or 4. And there wasn't much to enjoy in this movie. It really hurts me, but that's just what it is. I probably won't watch this movie again unless I have to. I'll just probably watch the fight scenes when they come out on YouTube. Lastly, guys, I want to say that there are 2 post-credit scenes. The first one is kind of important, and the second one is whatever. So 2 post-credit scenes. Stay for those. And overall, guys, I'm going to give Thor: Love and Thunder a 6 out of 10. So guys, that is my review for Thor: Love and Thunder, spoiler free. If you want a spoiler review, let me know. Maybe I'll do that. It'd probably just be me complaining a lot. But tell me what you thought about this movie down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I want to know. I want to hear. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.